Ha! Okay, ink and diary. Yesterday was something terrible happened. I do not know who to turn to, who to talk to, so I have decided to write it down. You, dear diary, are now my confidant and sole guardian of my secret thoughts. Hans lies in the next room, teetering between life and death, and I am terrified. All the injustice of life. First Mama, then Hans. Please, dear Lord, don't take my little brother away as well. Hans made me a promise to keep this a secret, but its burden is too heavy. I know I can tell you, though, dear diary. We discovered a cave in the mountains, a marvellous cavern with ancient paintings on the wall. Only prehistoric man could have painted them because they were depictions of mammoths, which are prehistoric creatures as well. That much I know. I hate mammoths now. It's all because of them and because of that stupid prehistoric children's toy. Why Hans? Oh, why did you try and take it? And why did I let you climb up there? I suppose you are in a coma now. Hans, if you die, I do not know how I could ever forgive myself. Hans has still not regained consciousness. Father cannot sleep, and Gertrude cries all day long. Outside, the heat is suffocating, but inside the house is icy cold and dismal. I still have hope, though. I know my brother. I know his strength. He will pull through. He never gives in. Can't think of anything else but Hans. In all my waking and sleeping dreams, I see his fall over and over. I see his head hidden in the rock and his so pale face softening. I have taken refuge in the attic. This is the only place where I can find any peace, wrapped up in all my memories. 20 years have passed since the accident, and Hans has still not opened his eyes. To see him like this is unbearable. Please, God, protect him. Not take my life, not his. I feel so desperate and so alone. I want to snuggle up in Father's arms, but I dare not. He is just so impassive. Oh, Hans, don't leave me here. Yes, Hans has come back to life. He opened his eyes and uttered my name. My name! Do you realise this is the happiest day of my life? I want to take the streets and sing to proclaim my joy of the world. Thank you. Oh, thank you, God. Oh, shit. Battle time. I wonder how beautiful life is. Gertrude and I cannot stop breaking into uncontrollable fits of giggles. Hans even wolfed down his meal today. I knew it was tough, my little brother. Even Father smiled at me today when he said good morning. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I am totally absorbed in Hans' recovery. I have scarcely 5 minutes to myself to return to my refuge and scribble down these words. It is very curious whether Hans is hungry, thirsty, or if he wants something, he cannot stop saying my name. He can't bear it when I leave him, even for an instant. Gertrude thinks that I should move my bed into his room to help him sleep better. I hope that Father will agree. It was the first day that Hans has left the house. We went for a short walk in the garden, but Hans is still very weak. The doctor said we should be patient and shouldn't rush him. It is so hard, though. I hope so much that life can return to how it was. Hans has been out in his coma for a month now. He still doesn't say much and has difficulty moving. He sits motionless for long periods of time, his eyes wide open, as though lost in thought. I've often had to call his name several times before he reacts. Then he will smile, and when he does, the moment is magic for me, and I can't possibly be happier. I had talked to him. The burden was too great. I asked Hans about the accident in the cave to find out what he could remember. He could utter only one word, mammoth, and his eyes glowed so strangely when he said it that he frightened me. I go back to the school today, and for the first time in my life I am dreading it. I am afraid to leave Hans alone. Despite Gertrude's kindness and attention, I have the impression that Hans is much less nervous when I'm there. While I was doing my homework yesterday evening, Hans crept up on me so quietly that he made me jump. He took a pencil and a blank sheet of paper and, curiously, he started drawing. It is the first time since his accident he has done anything but daydream. Hans was almost obsessively. It is all he will do now. All day long. I feel it annoys Father. Nobody else understands, but I can see that Hans is trying to draw mammoths. Today is my birthday and Gertrude has made me an apple pie, my favourite. My father has not returned home for lunch and Hans doesn't want to leave his room. The best present I could ever have is to see Hans back on the way to recovery. Stone is falling, it's so beautiful. The doctor visited to examine Hans. He seems happy that my brother has fully recovered his faculties. It truly is a miracle. I don't understand why he doesn't talk more, though. Why isn't he livelier like he was before? It's Hans' birthday today. Today he is 11 years old. I have the strangest of impressions that actually he has lost 5 years rather than gained one more. Doctor just left. I saw him whispering with Father. Their serious expressions worried me awfully. What could they be hiding from me? I am growing up now. At the age of 15, you can understand everything. I am too scared to ask Father what it is happening. Oh, so they're about 4 years distant. You're 4 years difference. I've been thinking it seems to me that Hans' attitude isn't normal. Surely the fall in his coma must have had much more serious effects than we first imagined. Hans, my dear brother, what is happening to you? I discovered the truth. Hans is stunted physically and mentally. I eavesdropped a conversation between the doctor, Father, and Gertrude. Gertrude buried her tear-filled eyes in her apron, and Father muttered the word retard under his breath. Oof. How could he say such a thing? Yeah, how could he say such a thing? Yikes. It is Easter and we're on school holiday. This means I can spend all day with Hans and protect him from Father's permanent dark moods. He cannot accept the fact that Hans, his only son, will stay in this state forever. That's interesting. To talk of this state that he's in, it's kind of like how some people view autism in a way, or how sometimes getting smacked in the head alters a person completely. Like, it's clearly changed him completely from being the lively lad he was, and now he just seems to be putting out constant complex ideas of automatons to create. Very interesting. It is truly difficult to accept, but it is not Hans' fault. Mine, maybe, but not Hans. I don't know how to make Father understand. He seems full of hatred for him. It is dreadful. I feel so powerless. 1 year has gone by, and it feels like an eternity. The situation shows no sign of improvement, neither in terms of Hans' mental health or Father's attitude towards him. Extraordinarily, Father has decided to take Hans to Paris for new tests. He says that only in the French capital will he find truly competent doctors. We must take Hans away with a great expedition. No news from Father and Hans, but I remain hopeful. I am sure they will take good care of my little brother. They have returned. Hans rushed into my arms and started crying. It took me a long time to calm him down and get him to sleep. Father is still as taciturn as he was before he left. The French doctors have confirmed the diagnosis. Hans will remain physically and mentally impaired. I am stunned. The summer is coming to a close. It has been less stifling than the last. The sun has put colour in Hans's cheeks. When I look at him, I have difficulty imagining that he will not change. Father still says nothing and increasingly shuts himself away in his office at the factory. Christmas. Gertrude tells me that love and faith triumph over any science. I lack neither. God be praised. Anyway, Father took Hans to the factory this morning. Hans was so afraid that I accompanied them. Fortunately, Father said nothing. I failed to understand why he insisted on bringing him there. Father at the factory with Hans once again this morning. I think he wants to persuade Hans that he could be useful for something. it is his way of resisting fate. For a month now, every morning, Hans has gone to work with Father at the factory. I'm not exactly sure what he does there, but he seems to enjoy it. I feel my brother's behaviour has changed considerably. He is much less capricious. I could cry. Hans has made me a present. A small robot mammoth with a trunk that rises and falls. When Father saw it, he nodded his head in satisfaction. The good and father now have their own robot mammoths. Theirs are even more intricate and finely turned. Your brother is not such a retard after all. Yeah. As well now walk, raise their trunks and wag their tails. It's incredible. I met the head of the factory workshop, Mr. Grips, this morning. He says that for a young lad of 12, Hans is very gifted. It is a shame he only makes elephants. Father and Hans were locked in a long discussion yesterday. Or should I say Hans was locked in one of Father's long monologues. As it is inconceivable that Hans should go to school like other children. Father wants to take him on as a worker at the factory. Or rather, he's far more valuable in the factory than he is going to school, I think is really what her father means. However, Hans will have stopped making his own little devices. Hans' silence, his half-gaping mouth and staring eyes finally sent Father off into a rage. I tried to broach the subject with Hans. I suggested he should obey Father. Learning a craft at the factory is his one chance to do something constructive with his life. He is so gifted and takes so much pleasure in making automatons. He did look like he wasn't listening to me, but I know he'll think about what I said. It's not that Hans cannot speak, it's rather that he doesn't want to speak. He uses the least possible words for communication, except with me, but he is still very economical with words. Incredible, Hans was not just satisfied with learning how the assembly line works, instead he has completely redesigned it. Father and Monsieur Gripes are taking a serious look at his plans. Father has wanted to talk to me about my future since I passed my exams. He wants to send me to university because he says my intelligence is outstanding. My heart was beating so loud. It is true I do love studying, but I couldn't bear to be away from Hans. Ah, now I'm seeing why he had to send him away. I ghastly someone. I have been permanently torn between my desire to go to university and my refusal to leave my brother. I talked about it with Hans, but he said nothing. That same evening, I found my own little mammoth broken. Hans had another fit of hysterics at dinner again. Father announced that Hans' new assembly line would soon be finished. However, they have removed the automaton parrots that shout orders, as they were deemed superfluous. Hans was livid. He hurled his soup dish to the ground and stormed off to his bedroom. What will happen between the both of them when I'm not here? Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a... October 17th. Despite my scruples, I am finally leaving. Hans has not talked to me for a week. Father would not understand if I told him why I wanted to stay. My heart is so heavy. Christmas again? It's so strange to be at home. I had never left home for such a long time before. Once we were alone, Hans did not stop talking. Words just leapt from his mouth. How he laughed at his excitement. He presented me with a delightful little ballerina to replace the mammoth, he told me. I was so touched that I started crying. Distance has done nothing to harm the strong bond between us. It is strange to pick up this diary once more. At first my impulse was to tear it up, but I resisted. Instead, succumbed to my second desire, which was to write for a while. I am alone in my attic once more. I have been home for 2 months now, and after a summer spent living with the intense joy of being reunited with my brother, Hans has returned to the factory. Father is aged so, and Gertrude's arthritis causes her terrible pain. Oof. All in all, these last 4 years have been kind to Father and Hans. Their relationship is less tense. They still do not exchange much conversation, but they now have a thing in common, the factory. I'm even beginning to feel a bit jealous. Silly, really. Nothing has changed. To help Gertrude, he has designed a totally automated kitchen, and Gertrude can't stop moaning at the wooden puppets. Oh, I adore them. I'm going to go and see Father and Hans at work. I hadn't been to the factory in ages. It is strange how much that has changed. I was very curious to see them set about their tasks. I like Father's new office very much. Hans has a small workshop on the first floor, crowned with odds and ends, unfurnished robots and designs. Exactly as I imagined it, in fact. Factory is going very well. Orders for toys keep coming in, spurred on by the run-up to Christmas. When I was at the university, I said my name and was Vorarlberg. People would ask me if I had any relation to the Vanillin factory. Now I know the effect that Hans' genius has had on the factory's renown. To make myself useful, I started helping Father set his papers in order. The most extraordinary thing of all is that for the first time ever, I have the impression that the three of us form a real family. Video. December 8th. Hans has never ceased to surprise me. Between home and the factory, his behaviour is so very different. In his workshop, he is serious, concentrated, a proper young man who keeps his eye on everything going on, constantly on the move and in control. One has the impression that each single toy is his own art of infant. At home, he turns back into a child once more and is either moody or a happy-go-lucky buffoon. It's one of the Christmas of my whole life. Hans and I could not stop giggling like children beneath Father's disapproving glare. I know that he was only pretending, really. Our hearts are so full of hope. Hans came to see me in my bedroom yesterday evening. I felt terribly awkward, terribly ill at ease. I might have guessed Hans wants to leave. Everdeen, the house, and the factory. He wants to go travelling. He doesn't know where to, or for how long. That's just like him. I was so shocked that I told him his plans were foolish. He left my room without a word, his head bowed. I thought he wanted to leave because of Father. Not at all. It's because of the mammoths. He wants to go tracking mammoths. I thought he had gotten over his obsession. I know my brother only too well. I wouldn't dream of telling him his quest is useless. It isn't worth it. He will not listen to reason. I was so selfish the other evening. I returned to talk to Hans and ask him gently if he was sure on his decision. I already know his reply was going to be. Nothing will make him change his mind. Despite my profound sadness and despair, I must help Hans fulfill the destiny he has chosen and announce the news to Father. I fear the worst. The worst was worse than my fears. Father's anger was terrifying. He shut Hans away in his workshop at the factory and has forbidden all visits except from Gertrude, who feeds him. Father decided that Hans should remain locked up for as long as it takes him to abandon his infantile decision. Gertrude tells me that Hans is very despondent, yet highly resolute. The worry is driving me mad. Oh Christ, they just fucking locked him up then. In the factory, I hasten to get news of my little brother. He doesn't say anything, he just fiddles with bits and pieces, she replies every day, with a sigh. I try desperately to reason with Father, but I know I am just wasting my breath. Hans is 18 years old today, and he is all on his own for his birthday. Oh Christ. February 9th. In secret, Gertrude delivered to me a small robot from Hans. It's a robot of us as children. It works with a small cylinder punched with tiny holes. Oh, I've seen that in the office. I quivered with emotion as I turned the key. The message it gave was simple. He was telling me he loved me very, very much. Gertrude gave me a different tiny cylinder for today's toy. Hans is truly incredible. He has found a means of communicating between us and us alone in total secret. He has been eagerly awaiting Hans' messages. He has now resolved to run away. He is preparing an escape, like if it was a game. She has returned, and she is beside herself. Hans has disappeared. Father has not even deigned to return to the workshop where he was locked up, his son, nor find out how he managed to escape. He just gave me a black look, as if I knew we were up to something behind his back. It is beginning to dawn on me that Hans is gone. I miss him so much. Lord, please protect my little brother and watch over him for me. With Hans gone, Father now locks himself away, night and day, at the factory. The house is so gloomy now. This morning I caught Father in the drawing room installing a coffin on a trestle. The sight of it made my blood freeze. What on earth is he up to? My question met me only the stony silence and a permanent black conundrums. Behind closed curtains, the drawing room with the coffin, surrounded by huge candles, has become a veritable funeral chamber. Disgusting. I've just understood what Father is up to. This morning the priest came to pray before the coffin, and I finally caught on. Father is in mourning for the death of Hans. Father made the priest believe that his son was dead. How could he do such a thing? Rather than the embarrassment of running away, I suppose. In the madness occasioned by his grief, my father grows ever more cold and calculating. He contacted his old friend, Dr. Schmoll, who duly drew up a bona fide death certificate, without even seeing the body. I dare not imagine what yarn he spun. Hans' funeral will be officially held next Sunday. Father strictly forbade me to attend. This sordid masquerade makes me feel ill, but I cannot denounce the subterfuge, or else I will display my father's mental instability to the world. The shame would kill him, that much is for certain. I have to get away, far, far away. No, I will not leave. I have thought long and hard. My life is here, next to my father. He needs me too much now. The factory needs me because Father is incapable of running it now. Besides, I can only find peace of mind among Hans's robots. And how shall I know when he has sent me new ones if I am not home to receive them? No, I shall not leave. My destiny is to remain here and keep watch. Oh, is that all on the desk? Well, there you go. We've learned a lot more about the late Anna and her brother.